As of when making this video, the Miami Heat have just swept their first round playoff series against the Indiana Pacers and looked prime to go on a deep playoff run. Jimmy Butler, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Herro, all their players were elite this series, and they managed to lock down the fiery TJ Warren and Victor Oladipo. This series has really got me thinking about how good the Miami Heat are and if they're a legit shot at the NBA championship, especially considering teams like the Milwaukee Bucks are faltering out the gate. So, in today's video, I'm going to be taking a look at the Miami Heat, how their roster has been playing in the bubble, how I believe they match up with other teams in the Eastern Conference, and finally, how far I think they will go in these playoffs post round 1. Before we start, if you're new here and enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe for more NBA content like this. I'm trying to hit 15,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so all support would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, with that all being said, let's talk about the Miami Heat.
Lucas.
The Miami Heat have been great in the NBA restart. Though they were pretty average record-wise, going 3-5 in their bubble games, when it's mattered, they've been dominant, as seen in Game 1 versus the Pacers and the statement game they made against them earlier in the restart after TJ Warren was popping off. Overall, the team has looked very good, and though as of right now they don't seem like elite title contenders, they're definitely not a team any other playoff side would like to face right now. So, who are some players playing well for the Heat right now in the bubble and have allowed them to be in the position they are in? The first player has to be Jimmy Butler. He has just been so impactful for this team so far. For the season, Butler has just been okay statistically, shooting horrifically from 3 as well, but the thing that makes him so important to this Heat team is his impact. His leadership, extreme work ethic, etc. is so motivational for a team that looked quite average coming into this season, and he's a big reason why they've done so well this year. During the first round versus the Pacers, Jimmy was elite, posting averages of just under 20 points and 6 rebounds, but had a couple huge scoring performances and plenty of clutch moments, including Game 1 where he hit a couple daggers to secure the win for the Heat. Again though, his impact normally doesn't show up in the box score, and if you watch the series closely, you'd know just how influential he was for Miami. Tyler Herro was also great this series and was by far the most consistent contributor for Miami this round. He averaged about 16 points per game and shot above 50% from the field for 3 of the 4 games as well as dishing out a fair few assists each game too. Herro has been a perfect selection for Miami, and the impact he's made as a rookie for them is outstanding. He's already a legitimate contributor for them, and his chemistry with his teammates is impeccable, which I'll touch on more later. It's just great to see. Another shooter on Miami who's had an amazing come up this season is Duncan Robinson. Robinson broke out this season as a spot-up shooter, averaging 15 points per game. In this opening round series, Robinson's had a few iffy games, but it's clear when he gets hot, he cannot be stopped. In Game 3, he went off for 24 points, nailing 7 of his 8 3-point attempts, and the Pacers simply had no answer to his hot shooting form. It's times like those that make him so vital to Miami's core and make him such a threat and worry for opposition defenses. He won Miami Game 3, and if that can happen again in round 2, it wouldn't surprise me at all if the Miami Heat can take a couple games against Milwaukee. Bam Adebayo has been another hugely impactful player for Miami this season, and in the restart. Adebayo is a top 2 candidate for the most improved player after breaking out with the disappearance of Hassan Whiteside from Miami's roster, so this has given him a lot of opportunity to shine. He's taken full advantage of that opportunity, averaging 15 points in the playoffs, 11 rebounds, and over 5 assists per game, which is amazing for a big man of his nature. He's also been very efficient, shooting over 60% in one of the 4 opening round games, Game 3 to be exact. I've gone over Bam Adebayo's impact and improvement many times before. His breakout year has just been great for Miami, and he's now officially a key player in the Heat's core for the future. The final player I want to talk about today is Goran Druggage, and he is by far the most underrated player on Miami in my opinion. Druggage consistently drops 20 plus points per game, but for some reason gets zero attention for it. He's one of the league's best guards. You could argue he's a top 15 one, and he's proven his worth this series, dropping 20 points or more every game and never shooting under 47% from the field. Druggage is consistently great and is a fantastic leader for this relatively young team, so to me, deserves a lot more love from the casual NBA fans. If we ever talk about the Heat, his name has to be brought up. He's just too important for their success not to be. So in my opinion, those are the key players to Miami's first round sweep and overall great season in 2020. The reason why the Heat are so good as well is not just because these are good players, but because they mesh so well together. This team has probably the best chemistry out of any team in the league, and though that's hard to measure, you can just see it when they're out there. I think this is in large thanks to Jimmy Butler, whose work ethic and leadership has inspired this otherwise mediocre team, and now with their friendly banter, competitiveness, and most importantly, respect for each other, they've become a very cohesive team. In a Slam magazine interview, Bam Adebayo said that the Heat in previous seasons used to have little groups of friends on the team, not really one big group of mates. That's changed this season, and it's pretty obvious on the court to me, which has hugely benefited the team. The players also all know their roles. There's not really any guys clashing over ball use. They know what they need to do in order for them to win, which is why I think they've been so successful also. So, with that all being said, who are the Heat better than among the 4 teams remaining in the East, and how far can they go? First, let's compare the Heat to the 3 other teams left in the Eastern Conference race, in the Bucks, Raptors, and Celtics. It's pretty obvious that the Heat are the worst out of the bunch, but that doesn't mean that they are that far off. Personally, I think they could take any of these teams to 7 games and possibly win that series, and the reason why I say this is because against top 6 teams in the Eastern Conference, the Heat have a record of 11-5. Out of any other top 6 team, so the Sixers, Bucks, Celtics, Pacers, and Raptors, this is the best record, and in my eyes, that's very impressive, and is a stat that should be considered heavily. The Miami Heat are not only a good winning side, but they're a good winning side against the best of the best in their conference, which is something us NBA fans should not look over. The team the Heat face in the second round is more likely than not the Milwaukee Bucks at this point, so let's take a look at their matchup with Miami first, and I'm not gonna lie, I think the Heat are a real chance to upset them. Here is why. The Miami Heat are one of the best teams in the NBA at shooting the 3 ball at 41%, and the Milwaukee Bucks are probably the worst team in the league defending the 3. They give up a lot of shots from there. The Heat also aren't a great team on the road, but they are now playing in a neutral environment, which as we've seen has been a huge beneficiary to their success in the restart. And against a team like the Bucks, I think having home court advantage taken away will be huge. In terms of keeping Giannis at bay, though Bam Adebayo is by no means a Giannis stopper, he does possess the athleticism to keep up with him and neutralize his attacking drives on the rim. During the season, the Heat held the Bucks to their lowest point total on the season, 89 points and were up by double digits on the Bucks when they played in the bubble, and that was without Jimmy Butler and Goran Druggage. Though the Heat struggle to hold on to leads, they do have a reliable closer in Jimmy Butler, which the Bucks really do not have. Overall, I think out of any team in the East, the Heat are more likely to upset the Bucks than anyone else, and I mean that sincerely. I have the most faith in Miami, and though I'd probably still tip the Bucks to win this series, I think it's going to go to a minimum of 6 games. They have a really good shot, in my opinion, to cause an upset. So with this all being said, how far can the Miami Heat go? Realistically, they are a second round exit to me. That is their floor. I can see them getting through to the Eastern Conference Finals because they have had success against Milwaukee this year, and as I mentioned, out of any team, they are probably the best shot to beat them. If they were to make the Eastern Conference Finals, I think Boston or Toronto would probably beat them. I think maybe against Toronto they'd win, but it's just too unlikely to me. Overall, I would say they are a second round exit, but I am a bit confident they could go further than that and make the Eastern Conference Finals. So all in all, these are my thoughts on the Miami Heat. They have been absolutely amazing in their first round series, and it gives me a lot of confidence for them as the second round approaches. They're going to be playing a title favorite in the Bucks, so it will be tough, but I have high confidence they can force an upset or get close to one. As I've explained, out of any team, the Heat have the tools to slow down Giannis and disrupt the Bucks system, and it's why I'm excited to see them play. If Jimmy Butler, Tyler Herro, Duncan Robinson, Bam Adebayo, and Druggage continue their high quality play from round 1, there's no doubt in my mind they can make a run at the Eastern Conference Finals, or maybe even the NBA Finals. Before the playoffs started, I was confident in the Heat, and I did think they'd win round 1, but to do it in the fashion they did is insane, and you have to give props to them. Apart from maybe the Jazz or Lakers, the Heat are the most on-fire team in the NBA right now, and they need all the momentum they can get as they prepare to face Milwaukee. Will they upset them and prove to be the biggest underdogs of this season? We'll have to wait and see, but hey, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they did. And that will conclude the video. What do you guys think of this? Are the Miami Heat dark horse contenders to you, and do you think they can upset Milwaukee? Let me know all your thoughts on this down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop it a like and subscribe, but with that being said, I am out. Peace.